It's 5 o'clock and 55 seconds. Turn on your headlights. It's time for Night Drive. Tonight, fire at the Crumbler Farms. Was it big? Did you see it? How is this going to change you buying avocados that never seem to ripen before spoiling? All of this tonight on Night Drive. Welcome to Night Drive. I'm your host, Horace Wexler. It's late, and I am doing great in this little slice of paradise. I hope you're doing the same wherever you are or may be. It's our normal time, but the mayor has decided to call it 5 o'clock, so if you're listening, we thank you for being able to rise above the confusion of being caught permanently in the 5 o'clock hour. We're still technically talking about the same universal time, but that is a wildly different time here in Fakahatchee. But we're not talking about laws our new mayor has put in place tonight. That'll be a topic for future episodes, I imagine. No, tonight we're talking about the loss of a cultural institution. I'm talking, of course, about Crumbler Farms Grocery Store. We're the grocery store closest to the airport. I feel like I can hear Robard Crumbler Sr. saying it in the way that only he could. Now, the store had landed on hard times due to a direct result of Robard Sr.'s medical issues, but that wouldn't stop me from popping in to get some blunched squelch or some glippening Zimkuts, and at prices the other stores, they just couldn't match. Even if you went to, say, the Winn-Dixie and spoke to a manager and demanded they match it, they'd look at you like you weren't even speaking English. But not at Crumbler Farms. You'd often see Robard there. He'd look up from whatever he was doing and give you a little wave, and then go right back to whispering secrets to the moulanged Ridodos. He said it made them taste better. Crumbler Farms was Robard's life, and everything there was an extension of him, from what he thought we wanted to buy to the fruit he would hand tie to the trees inside so we could feel like we had just picked it, to the oversized milk coolers that made a gallon of milk look absolutely tiny. Whenever I'd pop into Crumbler Farms, if Robard Sr. saw me, he'd always toss me a little something, a taster or a sample, and then yell at me to put it in my mouth. And you know what? More than half the time it was food. But yesterday evening, around 5 p.m., let's just say several hours after dark, that all changed, as the store that Robard Crumbler Sr. had spent so much of his life building and maintaining was consumed by a fast-spreading blaze that was quickly out of control. This sent a plume of smoke hundreds of feet into the air. I'm told you could see it by airplane, which really isn't a surprise since it was the grocery store closest to the airport. So if you were sitting in a plane on the runway, I'm sure you could see it. You could probably see it from the air as well. I don't know. We didn't talk to any pilots, just passengers, just kind of waiting in airplanes. Unfortunately, the fire department arrived too late to save the building. The store sign that previously said Crumbler Farms was partially burned and destroyed by smoke damage. Once an announcement of honest prices and good foods, and now it's missing many of its letters, as it rudely declares, "Come far." But I want to know if you saw its last moments. Did you see the flames? Were you scared by the plumes of smoke? How will this change where you and your family get groceries? Where are you getting your splooshed Hoboken now? I want to know. And that number to call in is 305-209-9686. You're listening to Night Drive. I'm Horace Wexler. Need a coffee grinder? I got 'em. All right, the phone lines are starting to light up over here, so let's get right to it. I want to know if you saw it burn, caller.
Oh, I saw it burn, Horace. You couldn't miss it. I was on my way to the airport to hit up the duty-free because I am out of eau de toilette. And as I was driving past, the whole thing went up like Cherry's Jubilee, except there's no sweet treat here, just a devastating fire.
Describe the fire for those of us who didn't see it directly, or maybe only saw the plume of smoke.
Orange and like reddish orange.
What about besides the color specifically?
It was big. It spread really fast. I pulled the car over to watch it, and I just kept saying, "Whoa!" There was also a guy screaming in front of it.
Screaming?
Oh, yeah. His hair was all askew, and he was, like, screaming at the sky. And he was holding his arms out like he was challenging God to a fight. I didn't get a look at their face, but it looked like he was wearing a shirt and tie. I remember because I thought to myself, that's weird to get all dressed up for a fire. It's a bit odd.
Did it look like they had anything to do with the fire or starting the fire?
I mean, he looked unhinged. We can't have unhinged people in this town, Horace. We need well-hinged folk here. There's families in this town. Everyone here needs to be hinged.
Well, couldn't agree more. I will stay hinged. You stay hinged as well. Thanks for calling in. If you want to call in and share what you saw or how it made you feel, I'm here. I'm listening. Let's get talking. That number is 305-209-9686. Let's pop over here to line 4. Go ahead, line 4.
Hey, Horace, it's Tyler Duncan.
What's shaking, Tyler? What were you up to when the fire happened?
All right, so listen. I was drinking a couple boxes of wine outside my bungalow, and all of a sudden, boom!
Did it catch you off guard?
The explosion scared the hell out of me.
Yeah?
So much so, I spilled all over my favorite Twisted Sister concert tee.
Oh, man. R.I.P. to a badass tee. Nothing worse than to have that happen to a keepsake. You can't just replace those.
I couldn't see the fire, but I could feel the heat, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Out on the streets, it was blasting fast and loud. It was quite a destroyer. They would have you run for your life because the fire still burns. And honey, look 3 times. But me and the boys, we're not going to take it. I just hope these bad boys pay the price. But I'm not afraid to say I'm looking out for number 1. And I want a rock to hide behind. Thanks for calling in, Tyler.
Okay. Bye now, Horace.
We'll be right back with more of your calls and opinions right after this. The number to call in is 305-209-9686. You're listening to Night Drive.
You had that feeling, right? That feeling of spinning a pile of your hard-earned clams on high-quality cat toys, but when you bring them home, the little fluffy emittens of Louis Vamiaunus, they turn their nose up at it like a snoot, like Kate Middleton when you shove a cocktail weenie into her face. I, TK Cuddles, insist you don't blow your cheddar on fancy cat toys. I've got loads of shit that a cat will play with. Shipping boxes, old rubber bands, a severed lizard's tail, an old burrito wrapper. Hell, even a champagne cork from a bottle of Puce Higgins at low, low prices. I don't give a shit about that cork anymore. It's from my wedding. Your pussies will go bonkers for my trash, and you'll go bonkers for my prices. Just walk into my shop and grab some trash off the floor. You'll know it's good. Why? Because I test each product by putting it on a shelf. If my cat Tango don't straight knock it on the floor, I know that it's no good and I don't sell it. Don't use my shelves. Just don't even think about using my shelves. I'm begging you. I beg you, don't use my shelves. We sell couch arms also. I chainsawed them myself. Why buy a whole couch when they only want an arm to scratch on? That's a wasted couch, I say. So, walk in and pick up some shit off of the ground, and when you take it home, you snuggle puff. That dingus is gonna go nuts for an injured cricket, an ice cube, a hair tie, all of it. That's the TK Cuddles guarantee. I wouldn't say it otherwise. I'd steer you in here with the red laser, but I think when you see my prices, you'll agree that that's the real catnip. TKCattrash.com if you're one of those shut-ins who does all the shopping online.
All right, let's go over here to line 3. Line 3, go ahead.
Hi, Horace. Devin O'Brien.
I'm sorry, was that Devin or Devin?
Devin with a V. D-E-V-I-N.
Absolutely. How are you tonight, Devin?
I'm fine. I'm annoyed. This fire is it's a bummer.
Did you shop a lot at Crumbler Farms? Is that why you're disappointed?
No. I mean, a couple of times. It's unfair to see something like that happen when people like me. I should clear. I'm an arsonist.
Oh, okay. Because when you said it wasn't fair, I'm like, oh, bad things happening to good people. But you really don't.
No,
think
that's what I'm getting at. Like I consider myself like a pretty upstanding guy, and I have worked hard at what I do. I'm passionate about what I do. I don't take flames and burning buildings or fields or any of that for granted. And so, this is a bunch of BS.
Pardon me if this comes off as ignorant. When you say you're an arsonist, are you a professional arsonist?
No. I would never do it for money.
Okay.
Because that really muddies things up. No, I am hobbyist feels.
Oh, it's like your passion.
It's my passion. Thank you. Yes. When you're a child and you light a Kleenex on fire for the first time and you feel just the power of God flowing through your fingers into that lighter and watch that piece of paper disappear. And that kind of sets you on a course for your life. And there are other things that happen. You get a job, you get married, you go to school. There are things hang-ups along the way, but like what you want to see is you want to see those buildings burn.
What do you do for work if fire is a hobby?
I'm a writer. I'm a freelance writer.
Novels or screenplays?
Sure. I mean, yeah. I haven't made any money off of. I haven't published. I've been working on a book. It's sort of like a Fahrenheit 451, but it's like set underwater, but also in space. I'm not going to get into it.
Both tough places for fire.
Again, I don't want to get into it. It's pretty
right.
exciting, but no, I write product descriptions for AutoZone, just like describing the different car parts that they sell.
Got it. So like specific models of spark plugs, you write up the blurbs that go on the sheets that come in the box.
Exactly. You know, like you get it. Mufflers, all that stuff.
Wow, I got to be honest, that sounds pretty dull. And frankly, I'm not sure I've ever actually read any piece of paper that's come in any sort of like auto parts box. It's always like throw the box, throw the paper.
It's the online sale, so it's like it's like 60 words for just telling you about like the door handle replacement for a Ford F-150,
right?
And just describing, trying to really describe why that replacement door handle is so great. So look, Horace, you're not wrong. It sucks.
Boring. Yeah. I mean, I guess someone has to
pay
do
the
it.
bills. It's my schedule is very open. I get to work from home. I write when I want, and that leaves the day open for doing what I want to do and what I love to do.
Right.
So that's what's important.
Well, your job is super boring. Let's get back to your arson.
Thank you.
Have you burned anywhere interesting that we should be aware of, that our audience may have heard of or possibly seen as they were driving past in the dark?
I have burned down. You know what? I went through a period of just setting as many scarecrows on fire as I could, like at the same time. So that there would be a bunch of burning scarecrows within like a 6-hour period, depending on how fast I could drive without, raising any eyebrows.
That's extra terrifying.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, the visual is very cool. And it also feels, what's it cost to replace a scarecrow? I'm not putting anybody out.
Yeah. It's super metal.
But that's part of the thing. I don't want to burn anything precious. I don't want to. I'm not here to hurt people. I'm here to let those flames engulf what they want to engulf, and except not people.
So is that like part of your ethos? Like, how do you decide I want to burn this? Like, what inspired scarecrows?
Yeah, so scarecrows is just seeing them and being like, look at that mother effer full of straw. He'll go up in a second. So otherwise, I get really jazzed about like a foreclosed home or something, empty house that's just been sitting there for a little bit, because it's like who's going to do that? Who are they going to blame? Especially if there's no, maybe somebody's going to luck into a little insurance claim or something like that. But they can blame it on a gas leak. That's super easy. I like lighting the tops of big box stores on fire, because
just
you
the
can
tops.
see it, just the top, just right on top. Because those sprinklers they're just ready to go. It's not gonna last too long. But if you hit your corners, you hit your marks, you get the right X pattern on top, you can really see it. You can really light up the night sky.
Yeah. It sounds like you've got like a pretty clear, I don't want to say like a moral code about how you approach this, but how does that make you feel when you see a fire like this out at Crumbler Farms? Like, what is your response to that?
Disgusted. I'm absolutely disgusted. I feel for, I don't, because it was them. It was that the kid, the boy, the junior, what's his name?
You think it was Robart Crumbler Jr.? I
don't think it was absolutely Robart.
Wait, let's back this up. So you think this is arson? Like, this isn't just like a fire that started. You think he specifically started this?
Yeah, but it wasn't arson. Arson is some people give it a bad name, but arson at its core is giving life to fire in a certain place that normally people don't want that to happen. This is just BS insurance fraud from some kid who is turning his father's tragedy into some pocket padding,
Right.
It's just, and not even like waiting. Like I said, I'm disgusted.
It's gauche.
It's very gauche. Thank you. But I have had so many friends and family members come up to me and be like, "Hey, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, old Crumbler Farms," and then I have to, like, I'm not going to lie, I say no, I did not burn that down, and then they seem disappointed, which is like, that's a whole different thing that upsets me. But it's just not the way to do things. It's not right.
Yeah. As an arsonist, obviously, if this was arson out of Crumbler Farms, I'm assuming they will find a perpetrator and catch them. How do you avoid being caught? I mean, like the arson inspector has got to be pretty good.
Yeah, sure. But part of it is low value targets. Like I said, empty homes, stores that are going to be like, fine. Sometimes the stores are like, oh, wish we had burned down more so that we could collect on that insurance policy. And then it comes down to time of day and time of year. Right. When you're setting things on fire during the wet month, the arson inspectors doesn't really care. So you be careful. You time it right, which has become a little more difficult since 5 p.m. became the constant time of day.
Well, yeah, that's got to be frustrating, to be sure.
It is not ideal. I will say that it is. I really love those early AM hours, or sometimes mid afternoon when everybody's like at work, post lunch break, kind of in that 2 p.m. 2:30 lull. 5 p.m. is just anybody could be anywhere, and it's not great.
Yeah.
But the confusion that's kind of going around everywhere helps a little bit. It makes it so you can, you find your spots, and sometimes you let the match be your guide.
Yeah, I imagine that you hear whispers from the fire, or I don't know.
Right.
I feel like a friend is told me about how sometimes like he can just stare into a campfire and he'll sometimes he says like he sees like a woman in there and she's like beckoning him to do stuff. I don't know what your process is, but that's just.
I've never had a woman beckon me from the flames, but I do commune with the fire. It's nice, those little fire sticks with the little trigger that are so popular.
There's like long lighters.
Yeah, exactly. The long lighter. Just I have 16, 17 of those in my glove box, and just pull one of those out and kind of stare at the fire. You look close enough down towards the little tip there, you see a little bit of blue, and that's where the talking happens.
Right. I don't know if you want to necessarily say this on the air, but are there any sort of kinds of targets you're looking for next time? Not something specifically, because obviously a part of your MO seems like you're kind of keeping your head down because you don't want to tangle with law enforcement too much. But what's next for you?
I'm excited for a lot of these like mail and stamp little businesses, like we'll ship your boxes, those little places, those mom and pop shops. They're falling on hard times and going out of business. So if I can just find the right, we're about to a couple hours from now, our big going out of business sale is going to end, then I think I can swoop in there and do something really, really special. So the contents of the store, that matters a lot to me. I want it to be something that's going to be big, quick, and beautiful. So I keep an eye out for that.
A lot of packing materials in those.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of paper. And I feel like, I'm a shop local economy kind of guy. So I like to think about how we can work together.
Right. Well, Devin, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I'm really curious about your theory about Crumbler Farms. I guess we'll find out in the days to come. But I mean, it sound logic.
I mean, you could feel free to just put money on that. Look, there's not like a wide circle of arsonists. And I know.
Do you guys all like kind of know each other? Like, Oh, that's Sheila. She only burns crops or trash.
Yeah. And we have our disagreements, and we bicker about what should go and when and like how to do it. But at the end of the day, we're all Americans. And we understand. We understand fire, and we understand each other.
So does everyone in like your group kind of think that Crumbler Farms was an arson?
Well, but again, not a pure arson, but a poorly motivated.
I probably should have said fire for monetary reasons.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's right. Yeah, that's right. A money fire.
I'm going to ask one more question, and feel free to not answer it if it makes you feel uncomfortable.
Okay.
But is there any sort of talk among you and your compadres, for lack of a better word, about mob justice? Like maybe, I don't know, like this seems like kind of an upstart situation where someone is like kind of breaking the social contract that you guys have. Any plans to do anything about it on your side?
No, we would go to the courts. We don't take that kind of stuff into our own hands. We burn things. We burn fields. We burn golden hills. We burn the tallest structures we can find. But we don't go after people, no matter how much they've wronged the world, us, what we do, and the passion that we care so much about. But still, that's not our job. We don't take justice into our own fiery hands.
Right on. Well, thank you so much, Devin. If you want to call in, that number is 305-209-9686. You're listening to Night Drive. How about we go over here to line 6? Go ahead, line 6.
What's going on there, Horace? It's your buddy, old Alabaster China Dolly Head.
How's it going, Alabaster? Where were you when Crumbler Farms was burning?
I was sitting in the milk cooler at the store,
okay.
at the Crumbler Farms grocery store.
That is a weird place to sit. What were you doing in there?
Now, what I was doing in the milk cooler isn't really that important, okay? Don't worry about that.
That puts you inside the building at the time of ignition, Alabaster, so I do think it's...
What I'm calling in to tell you is about how loud the explosion was. It felt milk all over the place, buddy.
I'll bet.
Now I'm covered in milk, wondering what's going on. And I thought to myself, well...
What did you think to yourself at that moment?
It seems I can just stay here in this milk and get all nice and milky.
I mean, let's be honest. That milk probably saved your life. I imagine it covered you and kept you from getting some serious burns.
The milk, Horace. Hopefully they can fix up that Cumber Farms, because who's gonna sit in the cooler and watch.
Ooh, I think it's going to take them some serious time to rebuild, if they even rebuild at all. You might be looking for another milk cooler to squat in, my friend. But thanks for calling. Where will he squat in the milk cooler? Winn-Dixie's is too small to fit a man in there. It also lacks that homegrown touch that Crumbler Farms had. Winn-Dixie's a much bigger chain. You hate to see that, like, shop local, family-owned business kind of touch go away. I got a feeling we're all going to be missing it quite a bit in the weeks to come for a whole host of different reasons. Quality prices, great products, milk coolers that are big enough to fit a man to squat in. It's too early to say. All right, let's take another one of your calls. Let's go over here to line 1. Go ahead, line 1.
Why, hello there, Horace.
Oh, this voice sounds familiar. Plinth?
I tip my hat to you, sir. You got it right on the first try.
Plinth Forsyth with the Fakahatchee Museum and Heritage Society, everybody. Plinth, did you see Crumbler Farms go up in flames?
Wouldn't you know it, Horace? I absolutely missed it. Something so historical, and there I am crouched over, tears in my eyes, holding my guts in the outhouse.
Well, that's heartbreaking. I don't think you can even call yourself a city unless you have a fire you can refer to as great. It seems like he missed it.
Well, only time will tell. Time's a terrific sorter of greatness from mediocrity, but I'll tell you, Horace, it was quite a bad time to be battling IBS, I'm afraid. Reminded me of the great mudslide of '78 when that road went sliding down into the sea and all the dirt and everything came along with it, and all the animals were confused because the land had turned into liquid mud. Or also when the Potter's Mulch children built that water slide back in '96, but then got bored riding it, so they started hurling trash bags full of what didn't get eaten from the Shoney's buffet down the tube. And it would break in the loop-de-loop, so it was just belching out uneaten hot cakes and brown trash water and leftover eggs.
Right. Well, Plinth, let's steer this back on track, if you don't mind.
Of course. Right. No one wants to hear about my body making squirts.
Right. So what are your thoughts on the Crumbler fire?
Well, Horace, Crumbler Farms is an institution, to be sure. It was already historical in a lot of ways, and when an event like this happens to a place that's historical, then you get yourself a historical event, and that's the kind of thing that the Heritage Society is very interested in.
Maybe 40, 50 years from now, your predecessor will be talking about the fire.
Well, that's foolish, Horace, because the world's going to end in 2054, so those people won't exist. But we might be talking about it up until that point, which brings me to why I'm calling tonight.
Okay. And why are you calling?
Well, we sure would like to have some photos of the blaze, if there were any amateur photogs there, as it happened, or maybe there was someone on the scene who picked up a charred orange or something else they think might have cultural significance. Probably not the orange, because even if it's charred, the rest would probably mold, and, well, that's something we're constantly battling in the museum anyway. We don't need to be importing mold, but if there's something else that won't spoil, we're hoping to set up a little space to commemorate the little grocery store closest to the airport.
Oh, that sounds like a nice little exhibit.
Yeah, right. We're thinking it'll get more relevant over time. People want to drop in and remember the grocery store, and plus, the old timers already remember the store back from when it had a hand painted sign before it was next to the airport. We hadn't gotten an airport at the time Crumbler Farms opened their doors, if you didn't know that, Horace. Their original slogan was Crumbler Farms, we're the only grocery store out in this fucking swamp.
Ooh, I don't remember because I wasn't alive, but what are your thoughts on this fire, Plinth? Some people have said they think it might have been his son that did it.
Well, I'm no expert on burnings, unless you're talking about when we used to still burn witches here in Fakahatchee back in the 70s there.
1700s.
No, the 70s. We had too many witches, and we kept telling some of you witches need to leave. Not all of you, but some of you, and they didn't. And, well, the town got together and did something I don't think anyone's too proud of now. But it is our history, and while we might not always be proud of it, it is what makes us us. And I really couldn't say if it was his son. I know he has a bit of an aggressive streak. He drove that car through the middle of the mayoral election, right?
He did. He didn't kill or hurt anyone, but it was definitely an aggressive act.
Well, there you go. And, oh no, there I go. Horace, I'm going to have to cut our telephone call short because there's a lot of grain starting to come out of the silo again, if you know what I mean.
I don't, but I have an inkling. We're talking about the fire over at Crumbler Farms tonight. Definitely not pants mistakes. Okay, should we? Yeah, okay. All right, we'll get back to more of your calls and some of those juicy opinions in just a moment. A lot of interesting thoughts out there tonight, but before we do, we've got just a few Fakahatchee community announcements. Are you still suffering from mastica ennui? Well, the Board Mouth Survivors Group encourages you to join them. Come meet your fellow BMs so you don't have to suffer alone. Every other week, we plan an outing that doesn't involve eating, so we don't have to think about how good it would be to taste a thick, char-broiled burger slathered with cheese topped with a cool, crisp tomato and the sharp tang of onion. This Thursday, we're going crazy golfing. Also, the taste of the bun buttered and toasted on the grill with just a hint of sesame seeds. But yeah, mini golf, that should be fine. Oh God, we just remembered French fries. Just show up at 7:50. Oh, okay. I think the BMs meant to say show up at 5 o'clock, even though they wrote 7:15 here. That's 5 o'clock at Mussolini Mountain Mini Golf. You know, that's probably my favorite mini golf in town. I like at one point how you have to hit the ball through Mussolini's antlers wrapped in spaghetti so that it flies right on time to land on the train to carry it into the hole. God, that is That's good golf. The Spanktuary's Toys for Thoughts is in full swing. Father Jonah Likely would like to remind you that Valentine's Day is tough for Fakahatche's single Instagram models. So if you have a brand new unused dildo, vibrator, plug, own a hole, or sleeve still in the original packaging, you can drop it off in the big pink box in front of any of Fakahatche's banks to donate it. Last year's drive was a huge success, with over 50 needy holes filled. It's murder gosling season. The city of Fakahatche would like to remind you to help stop the murder geese menace before it starts. It doesn't matter how cute they are, the gosling you see today could be the murder goose that kills your grandmother next month. Only you can prevent the next wave by crushing the eggs or stopping the chicks. Remember, a gosling today is a funeral tomorrow. Love the Olympic Games? Help us bring the 2032 Olympics to our town of Fakahatche. Oh, hell no, I'm not reading the rest of this. I'm not reading this. Nope, I'm not going to do anything. No Olympics here. Thank you. Let's get back to your calls and opinions right now. Again, that number to call in is 305-209-9686. Let's go over here to line 5. Line 5, you're live with Horace Wexler right here on Night Drive.
Hey, Horace, it's me, Duck Winters.
Hey, Duck, how are you?
Not great, Horace. Not great at all, because I'm not the mayor, okay? So you should have said, oh, hey, it's Mayor Duck Winters on the line, but you can't say that because I'm not the mayor, and that's a problem.
That's right, I can't say that. How are you feeling about that? I think if I were in your shoes, I would feel a little bit robbed.
First of all, you can never fit in my shoes because I wear a size 7. And second of all, I'm surprised you're even asking me that because you're here talking about the Crumbler Farms. Let me tell you 2 things I don't give a shit about. Heart disease and the Crumbler Farms grocery store. The only thing we should be talking about right now is how I should be the mayor, okay?
Well, I think the rules were pretty clear, Doug.
I think the rules are pretty stupid. Okay, I am on edge right now, Horace. I could drive over a quarter and tell whether it's heads or tails, okay? I mean, I am just anxious as a bumblebee on prom night. What happened was ridiculous, all right, with a capital R.
I think it's just a case, look, and I know maybe you feel a little bit betrayed because obviously Richard Baseman has to uphold the rules as a member of the city council, but Mikey DuSoleil was, he was the last one to touch the desk.
Nope. Let me say something. Nope. Okay. All right. First of all, Mikey DuSoleil, his hand was not on that hard body. Okay. I think his hand was actually, it's a fake hand. It's a prop hand. Like when you know those mannequins in the front of a JCPenney when they're wearing sundresses? It was one of those. Okay. Because there is no way he could have had his hand on the desk after being thrown over it. I mean, I broke Tucker St. Clair's arm.
Yes.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, that is the definition of all. I yelled, quack, quack, motherfucker, and I broke his arm, okay? Now, you come to hands on a hard body for what? Entertainment. What did I give people, okay?
Look.
I gave them probably a bunch of canker sores because I was kissing a bunch of people and I had a little flare-up. But also, I gave them entertainment.
Right.
All right?
You did, but look, I'm getting a little flustered here because I don't know how to set you straight. We have a new mayor. I don't think this is going to change anytime soon, but you're making allegations. Do you have any proof that he was using a fake arm?
That's the thing with people when you say something. Everybody always wants proof. Wait, can't you just take my word for it? I mean, we're friends. I run the Gator Farm. I'm a good guy. People like me. And look at this new mayor. You like him? You like this 5 o'clock rule? That's ridiculous.
Well,
he said it's 5 o'clock here all the time. I've had a dentist appointment scheduled for 4:15 that I cannot go to because it's always 5 o'clock. It is wreaking hell on everyone's life. Yeah. My business closes at 5:30.
Is that what you're saying? You're 30 minutes constantly from closing.
That's right. And so it's like, I don't know. Do I start to close up? Do I stay open? I mean, it's. I gotta tell you, the shift change it's been tough. Okay, because it's just. I don't know if I mentioned this already, but it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, Doc. It's obviously not a popular law, but Mikey DuSoleil is a very popular celebrity. So there are. Go ahead.
First of all, Mikey DuSoleil. I'll be honest. I feel robbed. Okay, I feel robbed by Mikey DuSoleil. I feel robbed by Richard Baseman. Okay, it feels like the whole town is just turning against me because it's like I got mugged. It's like Alleyway Steve jumped out of the dumpster, but instead of biting my ankles, he bit my dreams. But if they were made out of ankles,
right?
Drankles, the dream ankles. Yeah, I was like, then I'll just start to go off the rails there at the end. But you get what I'm saying, Horse?
Look, everyone loves you in the town, right? If we were going to cast ballots, I think that you would definitely win.
Yeah, I run a gator farm.
Yeah.
Of course everyone loves me. It's Florida. I should be mayor on that alone.
But here's the deal. That's not how the election happened. That's not how our rules say an election is going to happen. I think in this case...
Don't come at me right now with the textbook definition of democracy, because you and I both know that in and of itself was batshit cray-cray, okay? And what I did, I broke a man's arm. And when I broke it, man, it was like snapping a whole stalk of celery. I mean, everybody heard that. I mean, I wish I was recording it because I would have made that my ringtone. And I would have, every time I would get a call, I'd be so happy because it would just be the sound of Tucker St. Clair's weak feminine arms breaking.
Right. I mean, look.
And that's not to say that some females don't have very strong arms. Okay, I just want to say that.
Can I ask you a question, Duck? Is the bad blood between you and Tucker St. Clair, has it gotten worse, or is it...
Anyone else who has type J blood? Because that's what the doctor said I had. I've never heard of that one before. Type J?
I have not heard of a type J blood before.
Yeah, it came out brown, like the color of coffee.
Like when they took a blood sample, it came out brown?
Yeah, is that bad?
It's definitely not normal.
Well, I mean, listen, it's nothing that a big old glass of Scud won't fix. 'Cause, I mean, that's all I drink. So, that's how I stay healthy.
Well, Duck, if I can, I was going to ask you a question, and let's just entertain the idea that you were the mayor.
God damn, Horace. It's like my life. I mean, that's all I do all day, every day is I just sit back with a glass of Scud and look in the mirror and call myself Mayor Duck Winters.
Well, what would you have done about this grocery store catching on fire if you were mayor?
I let it burn. Okay, this is capitalism at work. All right, now as a small business owner, which is honestly, if I'm being honest with myself, on its way to becoming a medium business. Mm-hmm. Okay, pretty successful. Like one of the first things I learned was to not let your business catch on fire because that is definitely going to hurt sales.
Right.
Okay. I mean, unless you're running an ash store, you can't sell stuff that's burned down. And if your business catches on fire, well, I don't think you're very good at being a business, and it means somebody else should probably take over your business. I mean, the Crumbler farm's burning down. Yeah, I would have let it burn down. I mean, they got a meat section, so we could at least, have a barbecue cookout and went out with a bang.
Right. So you kind of think it's an issue with let the free markets be free. Like if the business is going to burn down, let another business come in and take that market share that maybe has mastered fire.
And that's what goes against the whole 5 o'clock thing. I mean, that's just like you're messing with the invisible hands of capitalism at that point. If you're saying it's always 5 o'clock, that means it can't ever be 6 o'clock.
Right.
That means it can't ever be 6:30. That means it can't ever be 7:75.
Mm-hmm. I think I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Can't ever be 10:02. I mean, there's a lot of numbers out there, Horace. A lot of numbers.
Yeah. Well, some have said too many, but not me. I think there's just the right amount. Well, Doug, thanks for calling. I'm so sorry that I know it's not my place to apologize, but I am sorry that you're not our mayor.
Hey, Horace, can I tell you something?
Go ahead.
I came in hot.
Mm-hmm.
I came in real hot. And you are a good listener. And all the fine people listening to your radio program, they all think that too. They all think the same thing I'm thinking right now, that Horace is a good listener. And I got to tell you, even though I'm not the mayor right now, I feel so much better just having talked it out. I mean, listen, one time somebody told me to go to therapy, and I punched him in the face. And, next time when somebody tells me that, I'm not going to punch him anymore.
Oh, well, thanks, Doc. That's really nice to hear.
And people tell me I should go to therapy a lot. But, I'll just call you because you make me feel good. And let's just say you're a lot cheaper.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the cheapest in the biz. That is not as flattering as I thought it was going to be when I just said it. So I have to ask, Doc, you're talking about people telling you to go to therapy and you punching them in the face. Are you plotting any sort of, I hate to use the word revenge, but are you plotting something against Richard Basebon or any of these people? Are you going to let this election go?
Oh, no, Horace, I am plotting a very, very intensive revenge.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. You can use that word.
Well, for a second, I thought maybe you had moved on, and
I did move on. I moved on to the revenge phase.
Oh, right. What are all the phases?
Well, number one phase is that Tucker St. Clair and his weak, broken feminine arm.
Mm-hmm.
Not all feminine arms, because I just want to say that there's some very strong females out there, so I probably shouldn't say feminine arm, but his arm, which has weak characteristics,
right?
And all of them, Tucker St. Clair, Mikey DuSoleil, all them mofos are banned from the Gator Farm. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And not just them, but their families and their extended families. I'm putting the hurt on them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put the hurt on them, because if they can't come, they might be like, okay, no big deal. But whoa, their cousins can't come. Oh, they're gonna hear about it.
What about what about if their kids were on field trips with the school?
This is the best part. I make them stand outside while everybody else comes in. Yeah.
Oof.
I'm full on discriminating.
That's
okay,
brutal.
and that's not against the law, because I don't want it to be.
Right. Well, I mean, Sheriff Bud Nichols is his hands full with everything else that's going on in this town. So that's phase one. Do you have any other phases planned at this point?
Yeah, every time I walk in front of them, I spit on the ground and I just look at them and I say, "What?"
Got it. And that's phase two?
Yeah, that's phase two. But you also have to understand that I have very active saliva glands. And so the amount of spit that can come out of my mouth has been described as overwhelming.
Is it all at once, or do you hold it in until
It is a cartoonish amount of spit. It's like a Looney Tune cartoon level of saliva that bullet shoots out of my mouth onto the ground, and if you're not careful, it'll get your boots wet.
On a scale of 1 to Hooch from Turner and Hooch, what are we looking at?
Scale of 1 to Turner and Hooch. I'm gonna go with Slimer and the Ghostbusters. Wow,
is this a medical condition that you should talk to your doctor about?
Oh yeah, he said this might have to do something with all my brown vitamin J blood.
I
don't know, man. It's every time I go to sleep, I can't physically close my eyes, so I think that might have something to do with it. But I don't know. There's a lot of moving parts, to be honest, Horace. There's a lot going on with me.
Would you have been cleared to be mayor? Are you healthy enough to be mayor? That feels like a crazy thing to ask, but some of this is sounding not
Horace,
normal.
I have been bit by a gator 7 times last month. Okay, I cannot die. All right, because the gators keep trying, and it only makes me stronger.
Right.
I mean, you could say some people say I'm cursed by God, or I'm blessed by the devil, because all this stuff keeps happening to me, and I keep living, and that's who we should have as mayor of this town. Because I got a lot of ideas, Horace.
Yeah. Do you want to share just one real quick?
Oh, and just give them away for free? I don't think so. Got a lot of ideas. All you can eat buffets, but you get to have a doggy bag so you could take some home. Now that's going to change a lot of people's fortunes in this town. Okay, you get all you can eat buffet, but you get a doggy bag to make home. Holy crap!
That's pretty good. I mean, if Mikey DuSoleil stole that from you, I would not hate it.
Oh my God, I hate him so much.
What would you say to him if he were listening right now?
I'd say get ready for phase 1. Okay, you're banned from the Gator Farm. Phase 2, I'm gonna spit in the ground. I'm gonna dirty your boots. And phase 3, I'm gonna shoot you in the shoulder.
In the shoulder?
Yeah, because it won't kill him. But man, is it painful.
God, so it wouldn't actually stop him from being mayor. It would just like give him a real hard time. A lot of physical therapy, I would think.
Oh my God, yeah. You get shot in the shoulder. And I'm going to find out what his dominant arm is. I think it's the right arm. And I'm going to shoot that one. So then he has to write with his left. And that's going to be so annoying.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Well, Duck, I think I got to let you go because we got to get back to talking about this fire over at Crumbler Farms that you didn't really want to talk about. But you know what? That's all right.
Yeah. Who wants to talk about a fire? It's a dumb fire. Crumbler Farms, man.
Where does Duck Winters get his groceries?
Where nature intended, from the forest and the swamps. And to be honest, I don't really eat much. I just drink Scud.
That is kind of interesting that you love Scud so much, and Tucker St. Clair invented it. Your great nemesis. So that always makes me chuckle because it's a little ironic.
I'll be honest, Horace, I completely forgot that he invented Scud.
Oh, really?
God damn it. I got to stop drinking Scud. Man, Horace, all that stuff I said before about you being a good listener, you just rocked me to my core, man. I got to go.
All right.
I got to go do some thinking.
All right.
God damn it.
Well,
God damn it.
Duck Winters, thank you so much for joining us. It sounds like, can I give you one piece of advice before you go, Duck? Don't quit cold turkey. It's technically dangerous, from what I understand.
God damn it.
We'll be right back with more of your calls and opinions right after this. The number to call in is 305-209-9686. You're listening to Night Drive. Hey, this is Horace Wexler. These days, there are dozens of reasons not to fly commercial. From sick passengers, drunk pilots, gremlins on the wing, flight attendants who are vying to win the Miss Bitch 2021 award, or the fact that Chili's 2 is closed and you can't get a beer next to your gate. The beauty of air travel has been sullied, and you shouldn't have to pay for the golden days of flight that no longer exist. But now, you can ship yourself. Ship yourself is flying made easy, and nobody appreciates easy more than me, Horace Wexler. And unlike conventional air travel, the price isn't sky high. Ship yourself is so easy, a toddler could do it. And they have. Simply purchase your ticket, and on the day of your departure, stand outside of your home with your luggage and drink the patented Ship Yourself mixture of Benadryl, melatonin, valerian root, and halothane vapor. When you wake up in the wooden crate, just pound as hard as you can on the inside walls until someone lets you out. Easy as 1, 2, 3. That's Ship Yourself in a nutshell. And with promo code NIGHTDRIVE, you can get 10% off on your upcoming travel plans. Ship Yourself. Sometimes you gotta think inside the box. All right, let's get into another call and go over here to line 2. Go ahead, line 2.
Hi, Horace.
Who am I speaking to?
It's me, Ash Boomerang. And, when I heard the explosion at Crumbler Farm, I wasn't surprised, but I was really excited.
How excited were you, Ash?
So excited. I can't tell you what I was doing at the time.
Right.
But, it was so cool.
Gotta say, I don't love where my mind is going to fill in those blanks, but thanks for calling in.
Thanks, man. Keep up the good work.
I'll let Ash get back to whatever it is they seem to be doing at the moment that requires so much whispering. But I want to hear from you out there in Fakahatchee. If you're just tuning in, I want to know where you were when Crumbler Farms exploded into flames. I bet this caller has a story. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Horace, this is Luis, man. How you doing?
I'm good, Luis. I'm good.
I know you're asking about the explosion at Crumbler Farms.
Sure am. Did you see it go down?
Well, I'll tell you, buddy. I was beneath my kitchen sink fixing a leaking pipe. My wife made me do it. I had to turn the game off.
At least let my man Luis finish the game. Then what happened?
And all of a sudden I hear a bang, and I leaned up and I wanged my head really good beneath the sink.
Oof.
But I thought, my God, my first thought was, we're being invaded.
Right. Yeah, I can see that.
So I ran outside, looked over in the distance, and saw the fire from the Crumbler Farm. So I was going to run back inside, and get a weapon and go down and help somebody.
Listen up, everyone. This right here is what a good American sounds like. Then what happened?
And I must have had a concussion because I ran clear into the door head first, and I woke up 15 minutes later. My wife was throwing cold water on me.
Oof. First question out of her mouth was probably asking about that leaky pipe again. Well, thanks for sharing your story, Luis.
Well, all right, buddy. We'll catch you on the flip side.
Good American right there. Thinks he sees an invasion and immediately rushes to help. Inspiring. Let's fire up those phone lines and go to another call right after this. A lot of you out there are listening, but for whatever reason, you can't call in. Maybe your phone fell in the toilet while you were making your business, and you didn't want to reach your hand in there to pull it out, so you just decided to flush it down and you'll get a new one in the morning. Or maybe you never learned how to use a phone. Sure, you recognize what it is by sight, but what do the buttons do? Where do the fingers go? Do you have to politely ask the phone if it would allow you to make a call before you use it? Well, some of you aren't letting that stop you. You're reaching out through email and social media to make your opinions heard. Dory Rattle emailed us to say, "Hi Horace, I saw the store go up in flames. Quite a sight. Reminds me of my favorite romance novel where a man and woman make love in a burning department store, and the fire caresses their flesh before burning them into an unrecognizable crisp. Hope anyone inside finished before they died. I'm going to do what the sign says now and come far." Oh, thanks for emailing, Dory. Next time, you don't have to include a screenshot of your browser history. Tim Chooch27 hit us up on Twitter at NightDriveFM to say, "Drove past the fire and boy did it catch my eye. All those flames. Never seen anything like that before. I watched until there was nothing left but embers. Tears dripping down my face and sobs escaping my mouth." Tough stuff, Tim Chooch. We're all a little misty-eyed thinking about it, I reckon. Priya Ranharian tagged us on Instagram at NightDriveFM Insta of her smiling and holding some spiky green little balls dripping juice with the caption, "Now where will I get my Corinthian nudgers?" I don't know, Priya. We're all in a bit of a pickle about where we'll get our nudgers. Or blub scrunk. I'm probably going to have to find a reseller online. TurtleBud32 also hit us up on Twitter at NightDriveFM to say, "My fondest memory as a child was walking into Crumbler Farms and seeing the free-ranged Pozzol arboletos fleeing your footsteps before their necks would be broken and then covered in toppings." I don't know, Turtlebud. I love the idea of them, but they were always a little bit too overly sauced for my taste. Enough of the written word. Let's get back to your voices, your calls, your opinions. I want to hear them in my ears right now. Again, that number to dial is 305-209-9686. You're listening to Night Drive. We're going to pop over here to okay, yeah, it seems like we have Sheriff Bud Nichols over here on line 3. Sheriff, are you with us?
I'm right here, Horace. How are you?
Hey, how are you, Sheriff?
Well, I'm doing about as well as could be expected, dealing with everything we got going on. It's kind of a heavy workload, but we're trying to hold down the ship over here.
What all are you dealing with right now? I know about the fire yesterday. The hot sauce man, I'm sure you're digging in on.
Yeah, the fire is obviously the biggest and newest thing. Yeah, we got the hot sauce man. Well, that fellow's got a real hard on for you, Horace.
Yeah,
I don't know what he thinks you did to him, but he's got his eye on you.
I find it incredibly uncomfortable, but also oddly flattering. Or maybe it would be if people weren't slowly turning up dead.
Well, yeah, I mean, not to minimize other people's tragedy, but from your perspective, he's obviously not. He's not going to hurt you anytime soon.
From your mouth to his ears.
Yeah, let's hope so. I mean, we got hot sauce man. We got those gangs down on William Bryden. That's
right. The 8th Street Dust Kings and the T-Ball Walkers. Did you guys ever get the? I'm sorry to keep moving through here. I'm just suddenly aware of what your workload is like. Did you guys ever get all of the killer whales cleared off the beach?
Well, we're still there's pieces. We've got most of the big pieces. The parts that require a truck to get them out of there. We did those first. Now we're left with smaller chunks that can be left to people who are just kind of walking around with a sack.
Right. And I'm sure finding the previous mayor inside of one of the killer whales slowed that whole process down considerably.
Oh yeah, it turned the whole beach into a crime scene. Mm-hmm. Like now you can't just go down there and pick up trash, pick up all the whale sushi. Like we had to cut that off for several days.
That's how are you holding up under this, Sheriff? Like that would be a lot for anybody else, I think.
Well, I'll tell you what, it is stressful. It's stressful for me. It's stressful for everyone in my department. One thing that has been very helpful, Horace, I don't know, have you ever heard of the Trailblazer program?
No, I have not.
Oh, the Trailblazers. This has been a lifesaver. What we do is, we send a deputy into a local high school. We recruit some of these no good teens. We get them interested in law enforcement, and we give them a uniform. It's basically an unpaid intern.
Right.
Because these kids are eager. They want to help. You just send them out in the field, do some of the work that, maybe a deputy doesn't necessarily want to do.
Got it. And they've been helping with the dead whales.
Oh, they've been helping with everything. They're out there scooping up what's left of the whale gut. We've got them canvassing, looking for clues.
Yeah.
We've got these guys out there. They're figuring stuff out. They're happy to help.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm glad you told me about this because I was definitely caught off guard as I was walking down Main Street, and I guess it was like a high school senior was like, "Where are you walking to, boy?" And it caught me off guard because it was a level of authority I was not expecting from an 18-year-old.
That's not what I want to hear. And next time that happens to you, Horace, you write down that kid's name because look, we're happy to have these Trailblazers in our program, but we don't want to let in the no good teams in here using the badge to bully folks. That's not what we're trying to do with this program. So that guy might need to be disciplined accordingly.
What sort of punishment would that bring within the mayor's office for someone in the Trailblazer program?
I got to be honest with you, Horace. It's hard for me at this point to get any kind of information, anything nailed down with Mayor Mikey DuSoleil. I would like to collaborate with him on rules for these guys in the Trailblazer program, but I'm finding that it's harder and harder to catch Mayor DuSoleil while he's at work because work lets out at 5 o'clock. And the mayor himself has made this new decree where I guess it's always 5 o'clock.
I mean, this show now takes place at 5 o'clock, Sheriff.
It's 5 o'clock right now, middle of the night. It's dark outside. It's 5 o'clock.
That's got to really be messing with anything that requires like arrest reports or anything that requires like a time of death. That's got to be super confusing on your end.
Oh, it's a nightmare, Horace, because you look at your clock, you look at your watch, you look at your phone, you try and figure out what time it is. And none of that information means anything when it's always 5 o'clock. This fire down at the Crumbler Farms, the fire department could have gotten to that in time to put that blaze out if it wasn't 5 o'clock, because 5 o'clock is when the shift change happens at the fire department and here at the sheriff's department.
Oh.
So we didn't have anybody to send down there. There were no firemen at the scene. It was a shift change.
Got it.
Problem was, an hour later, when some guys should have been getting down there, still 5 o'clock. It'll give you a headache if you think about it for too long.
Yeah, I've just been trying to do my best to just like let it wash over me. Try and go by like gut time. Like, sure, it's always 5 o'clock here, but when does like my gut say it is? Like, what time is that? Well, let's talk more about this fire, Sheriff. That is what we're talking about on the show tonight. I will say that we do appreciate how full your hands are, and we hope you'll come back and talk about some of those other cases in the future. Is there anything that you can share with us about this fire other than the level of damage might have been prevented?
Well, I mean, to be totally upfront with you, Horace, this is a very personal case for me. Because my first job as a young man, long before I started in law enforcement, I was a bag boy over there at the Crumbler farm.
Really?
Yeah, I worked for actually, old Robard Senior. He was my first boss. And I was kind of concerned about him because, he advertises right there on your station.
Yeah.
And I heard one of his commercials and I got concerned. I went down there to the store to speak to him. I said, Mr. Crumbler, I heard you on the radio. I couldn't help but notice you were advertising something called bum wads for 30 borks a roll.
Yep.
And he looked me right in the eye and he said, I'm sorry, sir. That promotion has ended. Bum wads are now 33 bucks a roll. So I just kind of walked out of there after that. I didn't know what to do. I didn't have any borks. God bless him, but it was almost a relief to find out he'd suffered a stroke after hearing something like that from someone you've known a long time.
It's really sad. I know Robard Crumbler Jr. had come into our ad office and was angry at us, but I mean, like, Robard Sr. had come in. He was very insistent on running the ads as he wrote them. And I mean, like, what are we going to tell him? No, like, he doesn't tell us how to do radio. We don't tell him how to do his business. So
as long as he's not being profane or anything, just let the guy place his ads as he wants them placed.
Right.
But
right.
It's a shame to find out why those ads sounded the way they did. And I wish old Robard Sr. the best.
Have you dealt with the kids at all? I imagine that you're sort of updating them on the status of this fire and everything that's going on. Have they reacted in any way? What do they think?
We think we've got reason to believe they might know more than they would like to let on.
Interesting.
Robard Jr., our RJ Crumbler, we've got him currently in custody because we think this might have been an arson situation.
Interesting. Okay. I don't know if you heard our earlier caller, but he strongly suspected that it was a fire for insurance reasons, which he thought was incredibly gauche.
RJ, he's a good looking fella, but he's also he's all about that almighty dollar.
Mm-hmm.
We think if someone did burn down the grocery store, it might have been one of the Crumbler children or someone maybe hired by the Crumbler children. That doesn't take a lot of police work to figure out. But
yeah.
Just kind of the first thought, you got to look there first. The store was doing well for many years, kind of went downhill last couple of years, and now it's a pile of ashes in the middle of town.
Yeah.
Normally, we wouldn't be looking this hard into a fire.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anytime something close to an airport gets burned on purpose,
mm-hmm.
now it's a federal offense. So they have sent in an arson expert. She does agree. This was definitely a burn job. This didn't happen on its own.
Well, I mean, at a federal level, I would imagine that she knows her SHI. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's an expert. I'm not calling Dr. Eper into question on anything. I do believe she knows what she's doing, but I think sometimes, that kind of brilliant mind comes with some other weird stuff.
Well, Sheriff, is there anything else that you could tell us about the fire? I certainly hope that it's Robard Jr.
I couldn't agree with you more, Horace, because, I don't want to say that I hope it was Mr. Crumbler's son that set this up or any of the young Crumblers, but it would be a relief because the other option, somebody burning stuff for fun, you can't. That kind of chaos, we do not need. It rained blood here, Horace.
Yeah.
We don't need a guy who just likes to burn things. We got the damn old hot sauce, man. That guy's chaos enough already.
It's too much. Well, Sheriff, we're gonna get back on. We're gonna get back on with the show. As always, thanks for calling in and keeping us abreast of law enforcement's doings in this town. I know you've got a lot on your plate, and I'd just like to take a moment on behalf of all of Fakahatchee to thank you for what you are doing. And if you see the sheriff, this is to all of you out there listening. If you see the sheriff or any of the deputies out there, buy him a cup of coffee. Is that fair, Sheriff? Do you guys like coffee down there?
Hey, most of us like coffee. Those of us who don't, Enjoy iced tea. But
Right.
we appreciate it, Horace.
All right. Well, Sheriff, we'll talk to you again soon. If you have any updates, please always let us know. You're always welcome here on the show, and we'll talk to you soon.
Will do, Horace. Thank you. Always a pleasure.
That's going to do us for tonight. A look at the clock tells me it's almost, well, it's 5 o'clock, but that's all the time we have for tonight. Thanks for joining me. I'm not sure where I'm going to get my groceries now, but that seems like small potatoes compared to the hole this community is going to feel, missing part of its culture and heritage, and I guess a place to buy small potatoes. I certainly hope if Robard Crumbler Jr. is guilty that he's prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Maybe this is just another chapter in Crumbler Farms' long legacy, and maybe they'll reemerge like a phoenix rising from the ashes, or at least offering deals on Phoenix Ash for $3.60 a Borg. Thanks for listening tonight, and if you've enjoyed the show and you listen on Podcast Addict, why not leave a review over there to help new listeners find it? But really, there's no better way to share the show than to bark it at people in cars passing by your house and growl it at mail carriers before chomping on their leg. You can reach the show on Twitter at NightDriveFM, on Instagram at NightDriveFM Insta, or on Reddit at r/NightDriveFM. Or hey, come join us in the Discord. It's open to everyone. We've got people in there from across the globe, but it is a private invite only, so you will have to hit us up on social networks for a link, but then you can get in there and join the rest of the community. We're getting ready to do a Royal Rumble pool. It'll be our second annual Royal Rumble pool. That's coming up very, very soon. In fact, this weekend. The winner of that is going to get a $15 gift card or a donation to a reasonable charity of their choice. So you don't want to miss out on that. I'm not sending money to gunsforbabies.org, so please don't even ask. I don't care if you win both pools. That's not something that's going to happen. If you really love the show, not just like it, maybe you're like, oh, let's go steady. I want to take this show up and put it in the car, strap it in, take it up to Lover's Lane. We could turn the lights off and neck to the beautiful music. Well, why not become one of our patrons and support the show at patreon.com/nightdrive. We use that money for hosting for the podcast, bandwidth for the fake website, sound gear, etc. You'll also get $4 off on Teespring for merch. And on the merch site, we've got vapor wavy shirts, mugs, face masks. We also have an official Night Drive poster that is absolutely awesome and just really incredible. The artist did such a fabulous job. I've got one framed on my wall. That along with, there's some other bits and bobs, pens, stickers, magnets, keychains. NightDriveMerch.com will take you to all of those storefronts. Additionally, joining the Patreon will give you access to a show that sort of exists called Dinosaur. Now that Dinosaurs is coming to Disney+, you couldn't stream it anywhere for a while. I'm blowing the dust off the only podcast about ABC's hit 90s show, Dinosaurs. I'm sure we'll see imitators, but we were the first. So look for another episode of that on the Patreon before the end of the month. Night Drive is produced by Michael Truly and is hosted by a man that isn't afraid to wear an opera cape around town, me, Horace Wexler. The following callers were ably played with a reasonable amount of gumption by Ron Babcock, Evan Gaustad, and Clayton Meeks. I'd also like to thank all of our lightning callers who called in and submitted a call this week. And a very special thank you to our musical guest, Puddle of Mud. Next time, take your shoes off at the door, guys. These are expensive carpets, and we don't need your shoe prints all over the rugs. We do it Hawaiian style here, okay? Good Morning Sunbuns with Tiffany Bunzell takes over tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Tomorrow, Tiffany speaks with a Nobel Prize-winning scientist about why green bean. She's joined by the Marrakech conjoined twin cheerleading squad, who will show off an exciting new cheer they came up with just for her. And Tiffany will meet a dog who was born a cat. So until Tiffany takes over, here's 4.5 hours of government-mandated buzzing that, I'm really starting to settle into. Like, when you see a stand-up bass player really find that groove. So until next time, I'm Horace Wexler. Keep night driving.